Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So I got a helper today, and it's time to start getting ready for Nats, okay? We're getting closer and closer. We're like, what, 8 weeks away now, just over 2 months, and like the wheels are turning, everyone's in prep mode. So I thought I would just kind of film a weekly episodic until Nats gets here of basically a breakdown of what I'm doing to prepare for Nats. Now, whether you're going to Nats and you want some ideas, or if you're, just kind of on that path of you want to go to Nats next year and you get your invite, or what you want to do to try to get an invite for a future tournament, then hopefully this video series will help you out some. Also, our featured memory marker of the month is going to be Modimon. So if you are a fan of Tanamon, or just need a really good green memory marker, a good mascot for your green deck, this is a pretty fantastic one to go for that. Very simple, but very, very cute and effective. This is handmade out of clay by my wife, hand painted as well. Super cute. You can find this on our Etsy page, link in the description below. Also there you can find all of our previous memory markers that we featured on the channel. So whatever deck you're playing, we probably have something that will work great for that. Alright, so far we've already started a little bit of prep, right? Whether we're taking Commandramon here to our local scene and doing a little bit of testing there, as well as testing with our testing partners. That was kind of the deck I was leaning into at first, right? And then also kind of comparing it with Metal Garurumon also being super consistent, as well as, of course, me, I've always got to have security control in my back pocket, ready to go at any time. So whatever the case may be, yeah, thank you so much. And then also kind of just taking a look at where I've kind of predicted for decks to fall. I still feel really strongly about this. There's a couple like in the mid ranges here that might be a little bit kind of skewed a little bit off, but I still feel pretty confident in where this list is currently. There's just so much that's good. Also kind of take away Mulligan out of this. So a lot of the Ultimate Cups here recently have been with Mulligan. You take that out of the mix, a lot of decks get hit really hard on their consistency. I would say probably the most likely one to move out of here would be the Imperial not in A. Sadly, just no one was able to really make it pop off and be super consistent. I think that's its biggest problem. But all these others in A tier feel spot on. All these decks feel pretty A tier quality, I would say. Nothing feels S tier though. Nothing feels like if I play this, I can beat any deck in the game. It's just not here. It's not on the list. There's not a deck that is that good. A lot of these decks like hard lose to a certain other deck, and then a lot of other ones, they just hard win against certain other decks, because that's just how, vice versa. It works that way. For me personally, I feel like if I want to go super aggro for this format, this is assuming we're going in at the EX3 format. I'll get to BT11 here in just a minute. If we're going in at the EX3 format, if I want to go aggro, Commandramon or Metal Garurumon X feel like the aggro decks to go with, because they're super aggro, of course, as well as they're just incredibly consistent. Nats is supposed to be scheduled for 3 days. A 3-day long Nationals is what we're expecting to see. You have to have super consistent decks if that's the case. You can't have a deck that occasionally bricks, right? If you play a deck that occasionally bricks, you're not going to make it to the end, okay? I mean, that's just really all there is to it. You need something that's beyond consistent. And both these decks are very much the aggro epitome for consistency in EX3. But I still feel super comfortable with security control. Depending on how you build it, of course, it can handle a multitude of different matchups. It can just outlast and out-persevere so many decks in the format. So it can really handle every deck that you're going to see in the format pretty easily. I wouldn't say easily. That's not true. It's not easily. It's very tactical, and you can outlast because you can cycle cards back into the deck, as well as just kind of keep going and keep going. Just try to outlast your opponent as much as possible. So in an EX3 format, these are the 3 decks I still feel have the best chance of making it through a super, super long 3-day long event. Imagine playing 16 rounds and never bricking. Yeah, these decks are going to be your only chance of that happening with. But That said, we've done a lot of research so far into EX3 format and things like that. We've done, we've all been to locals. We've seen what decks are performing well. We've been looking at Ultimate Cups, seeing what decks are performing well in a mulligan format. But BT11 is technically scheduled to release the week before Nats, which means the pre-release is 2 weeks before Nats. If that is the case, then there is a high likelihood that we could see that as a legal option. I'd say the community is pretty split 50-50 on, do you think it's going to be legal or not? Because if there is a delay, then that's it. There's no way it could be implemented if there's a delay. And literally just this, what was it, EX3, it was a week or two delay on that. So, it's for the US, that is. For North America, there was a delay. And if that's the case for Nats again, then BT11 isn't allowed. But we don't know. So how do we approach going into Nats? We got to prepare for both outcomes. Practice in a EX3 only format and get your BT11 practice in. If you don't have a way to print proxies, or you don't have Tabletop Simulator to simulate your decks, then go for just doing as much research as possible. I've got some stuff pulled up for you guys here. If you go to YouTube, right, Digimon TCG, I got my filters turned on for only showing channels here. And we've got all these channels here that are great content creators. I mean, literally, everyone in the community can bring you something. I don't care if literally you're this guy at the very top with 99 subscribers. I've never even heard of them. But that's not saying that they don't have good content. They just might be super new. Or you have 60,000 in your card protagonist, and all your videos are super, like, I don't know what's a good word to explain card protagonists. Their videos are awesome. They're like highly edited to look amazing, very well like thought through and everything like that. They got 60,000 subscribers. But like everyone here is going to be able to bring you something, some sort of information, some sort of just an idea that you didn't previously had. And they'll be able to help you out in some way. I mean, literally, I'm on that list too. There I am. But scroll down a little bit. You just got to find me, okay? I'm there. But I think this is a good way to do your research. Some people are adverse to YouTube. If you're here watching this, I would say you're probably not adverse to YouTube and looking up and researching. So that's a good thing. If you're here, then you're already on the right path. Card protagonists, like I said, they've got some great stuff for the BT11 format. You can see my watch. I've already started watching a little bit of their BT11 stuff. Just getting ideas. Seeing what they do for decks, seeing how the decks play out in other people's hands. I think that's also important. Don't just rely on, I have the best ideas, I know what to do, and refuse to look at other people's, because then you'll never grow as a person. It's like saying that you're going to teach yourself, physics, and without a teacher and without anyone to guide you or help you. It's just, what? I don't understand that logic. You're not going to be able to completely teach yourself. Have others show you the way and teach you as well. So there's some great stuff here. Rust Morrow also had a great series here of combating all the BT11 decks against each other, which is really cool to kind of just see all these decks play out against each other. And DPP also, hey, great stuff. One of the best content creators out there. He's been doing a lot of One Piece stuff here recently, but he's also got a lot of Digimon stuff that's really great from the point of view of a locals. And I think local matches and like the finals of locals is really good to see how that stuff plays out, like Black War Greymon versus Examon, in a BT11 format. That's really cool. So, another great source to look into for the foreseeable future. I would say the English is really good to look at for how we are for the EX3 format, going into the EX3 format. But if you're looking at the BT11 format, I would definitely look ahead to those guys. Granted, their format was a little bit different. You got to kind of keep that in mind as well, because of, we'll go to DigimonCard.meta or DigimonCardMeta.com here. And their BT11 format also had the Beelzemon. We don't get Beelzemon until March, so it won't be included in Nats. Now, it will be out before BT12, of course, but that's still affects a little bit of the website here of the top decks, because they're going to have, you know, tools available to them for purple decks and such, that really helps them out. That will, you know, kind of skew the views a little bit. But again, this is still another great source to go to, just to kind of look at decks that did extremely well, just to give yourself ideas. Sometimes you'll click on one of these and it'll have the craziest text, and you're like, what were they thinking? And you sit there and look at it and you're like, oh man, that is so spicy. I love that. No wonder this deck got first with a spicy tech like that no one's ever seen. So you can get some good ideas every once in a while from these kind of, you know, looking at them. But at the end of the day, there's just DigimonCard.dev here. Go pull up BT11 here. If you're not familiar, this is a great website. Shows all the decks and all the packs that have ever been released with all the cards. You can literally have a deck builder pulled up and make your own deck if you want. Click the pack that you want to look at. Make sure you hit merge, because sometimes if you look at only English like this, nothing pulls up. Hit merge and you'll see the other JP cards as well. Just read the cards. I mean, just start studying and seeing what you think would do well. If you have a decent understanding of the game, you know, what do you think would do well? Shoutmon got hit, but now we got a new Cross 3 that's going into the mix to kind of help balance out that Cross 4. This is going to be a 1 play cost Shoutmon with Rush, right? And it's got an on play that's a consistency booster similar to the level 3 Shoutmon. So great little consistency card there for the deck that it desperately needs, with material save as well. A low DP, so it has a pretty good chance of getting deleted in security. Even that 6,000 DP falls right into the threshold of Flame Hell Scythe. Just an odd example to throw out there, but you know, it is what it is. Looking at the rest of, you know, the set here, there's some neat stuff here, but I wouldn't say there's too much that's like super hardcore meta for the most part. Like blue doesn't really have, it has All Forge, which is neat, but I wouldn't say it was something you want to take to Nats. There's some neat stuff with the Sukamon deck. King Sukamon is insane, just being able to turn something into a Sukamon with 3000 DP, which makes it super easy to delete at that point. So you turn something into a Sukamon and then just pop it like really easily with whatever you want to after that. So, you know, that's a really interesting tech that, you know, you might want to look into if you're a control player, seeing what you can do with that, because, you know, there's definitely some argument for some Sukamon shenanigans going on. Now, how meta that is, I don't know how quite meta it is. I think it's a cool tech that can be worked into other meta decks, though. Green doesn't have anything too crazy. It's got Rust Tyrannomon, but I think the, you know, Hydramon and Bloom Lord is still probably going to be the way to go for green, if that's what you want to play. But then we get in down here into black, right? We've got the new Venmon here, so if you want to Venmo me some money, you know, pull this guy out. No, but Galacticmon is pretty crazy. He is the secret rare of the set. It's pretty interesting. Very good for, like, going against security control style decks, but can be a little bit slow, I would say. But the big powerhouse, though, of course, is Black War Greymon. Now, this isn't supposed to be a set review video or anything like that, but I want to, if you're a fan of the channel, you've made it this far in the video, you know, we're going to talk about some of this stuff here. Black War Greymon X Antibody is insane. This card has completely and utterly dominated the meta in JP. Okay, it's not a surprise or anything like that. Most everyone knows it's coming. I almost, like, I'm just gonna, like, throw it out there. This isn't with, like, too much thought just yet. I'm just now getting into really starting to study up on BT11, just in case it does drop for the Nats format. I need to be on my game when it comes to BT11, so I can't rely on it being EX3. I'm doing my research, and this card is insanely good. And then if you look at their format, the outcome of a lot of their stuff, this is at the top. Even before Shoutmon got hit, right, before they got the restriction list or anything like that, before any of these, this deck was still just absolutely dominating. And it's probably going to do the same. If I had to just spitball it out, I would say this is probably going to be like an S tier deck. And that's sad to say, because I think EX3 format would be great for Nats just because it's so diverse. But the second we start looking at BT11, I feel like it's you either play Black War Greymon X or you lose to Black War Greymon X. Now, if you've got a sweet, like, counter, put it in the comments, because I am, like I said, I'm going to spend the next few weeks. We're doing lots and lots of testing of both EX3 as well as BT11. I want to have all the information I can. If you've got some great ideas for dealing with Black Hole Greymon X, I would love to hear them. Security control is not the answer. Like, as much as I love that, the fact that the tamer makes him unaffected for a full turn of option cards. Yeah, I mean, what do you do against that? And it gets to trash your security for free with the Metal Greymon X without even having to attack into your security. What do you do against that? You know, like, it's not the way. It's security control will not be the way against Black Hole Greymon in that format. Going down into purple, you know, purple's got some really, really cool stuff with the new Lady Devimon support, with the Mirai here. Really fantastic for the Mass Day decks. I definitely plan on playing it for BT11 to have some fun with, but I don't know if it would be the deck I'd want to take to Nats necessarily, because it's a Mass Daemon deck, and we all know how bricky Mass Daemon can be. Just out of nowhere, you'll be super consistent, and then boom. Like, even with these new tech cards that help the consistency tremendously, it's still Mass Daemon. It can still brick really, really bad on you. So that'll do it for what we're going to look at for today's video. Next week, we're going to go into our testing more and talk about what decks are doing well in testing so far and what decks are not doing well in testing so far. If you have any ideas for stuff that should be tested, or if you want to see matches of certain decks in either the EX3 format or BT11 format, put it in the comments, and I'll try to get a game in recorded for you guys to watch, just a dedicated match video of one of these like matchups for sure, because you know, I wouldn't mind seeing Black Hole Greymon versus Security Control just to kind of see how it works out. I have a feeling I already know, but it is what it is. And as well as like Commandramon, I'd like to see how that performs against other decks, and Metal Garurumon, which we've already seen a bit of so far on the channel, right? So we got the Metal Garurumon versus Commandramon, we got Commandramon versus Security Control, and I guess we could also do Metal Garurumon versus Security Control as well, just to kind of cover all three decks, since those are the ones I kind of pitted as the best of EX3. Put those together. We also need to work in some Bloomlord for you guys. If there's a certain matchup you want to see with Bloomlord, put that down there as well, and we'll try to see what we can do to get it for you guys. All right, we'll see you next week with part 2.